What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about BCHG and LTCN today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? So some big stuff has happened since the last time we talked about these Grayscale trusts, right? Maybe we should start off with LTCN, actually, on that note, because LTC, it's looking like LTCN is going to become an ETF, right? I'm pretty sure Grayscale, they've filed for LTCN to become an ETF, haven't they? Let's see. Did Grayscale file for LTCN to become an ETF? Yeah, something like that. Man. Checking here. Yes, Grayscale has filed to convert its Litecoin trust LTCN to, yeah, there we go. Filing was aimed at allowing investors to gain exposure to LTC through ETF structure and dissolving the premium. So, with that being said, my friends, if we look at LTCN on the Grayscale Trust here, where, I don't know why it won't just give me the site. I have to look it up and then click it. Go to NAV price. We scroll down, right? NAV price is at 984, okay? 984. You look at Litecoin LTC. It's moved up a little bit, right? It's moved up since Grayscale closed on Friday. So likely this NAV price will come up to above $10, okay? LTCN at $13 now, you probably have a date with Destiny down to $10, okay? Which would make sense because that's also at your relative lows here. So you're going to touch your low. You're going to have a double bottom, forming decent chart structure there. And then it's really just going to be up to Litecoin, right? Your ETF isn't approved yet. It isn't, but if Grayscale filed for it, there's probably something going on with the Canary Capital Litecoin ETF that they filed. Grayscale probably caught wind of something, is my theory. Maybe Canary Capital or whatever the LTC Litecoin ETF filer's name is, whatever company it is. I think it's Canary Capital. Maybe they get denied, and then Grayscale applies, and they're the ones that get approved. They're the first ones to get approved. I don't know. But I do assume, and I think that we all know, that a Litecoin ETF is on its way, right? Grayscale applying for it, that it's probably going to get approved. The new administration involved would likely approve it. Litecoin, one of the tried and tested cryptos, I assume will be incredibly bullish for Litecoin. While it's not so bullish for LTCN, I think it'll be incredibly bullish for Litecoin. In fact, it's just a matter of time before the NAV price for LTCN is not just higher than its current price is, but higher than any price we've seen this cycle. And I want to go over that, right? I know a lot of people are discouraged with LTCN, and they think that they made the wrong choice or that it's not going to grow that much. But if we look at Litecoin, there's a real possibility. If I remember, I know for BCHG, there's definitely a possibility for it to see new all-time highs. LTCN being tethered to its ETF NAV price, I wonder how much growth it could do. Let's see if we could do that, right? We're at $124 now. High to low. Okay, here we go. I'm assuming that LTC at least hits 2,500 by the end of the cycle. That's my genuine prediction. 2,600. It's about a 20x from here, okay? LTCN, likely again, it'll probably be around $10, something like that, for NAV price whenever it opens, somewhere around there. A 20x for LTCN would take it to about $220. $220, right? Something around that same price. So if Litecoin stops at 2,500, which it's very possible it could stop here, that's a fine amount of growth. It's fine. You don't have to grow more than that. That's fine. You can stop there. LTCN likely does not see new all-time highs. But I personally believe, right, and I made a video on this recently, but I think that when it comes to the cryptos that are being discussed for this crypto stockpile, right, it's not a Bitcoin reserve, it's a crypto reserve. I think Litecoin is one of the only coins that's actually a viable option to be put in this long-term reserve. Litecoin is, right? Getting an ETF approved this cycle also sets you up for some bullish stuff. Breaking out of a multi-cycle consolidation phase, you've just got a cocktail, man, a straight whirlwind of bullish behavior that takes place with this next move that's coming up, man. Whatever it looks like. I theorize, and I've long theorized that 2,500 was where you were going to stop, but I'm starting to get really friendly with the idea. And I've always accepted that this could be where you go, could be. But now I'm thinking it's more like you could stop here, you will go here. So if Litecoin goes all the way up to $5,700, that's a 46x, okay? A 46x from its NAV price. That would put Litecoin just barely at its all-time highs. Like quite literally, LTCN would be right at its all-time highs. And that'd be from NAV price. From the current price, that'd be a 37x. A 37x. The ETF got approved, or didn't get approved, but it's getting filed for, and it likely gets approved, and they likely convert LTCN into an ETF. That sucks. You're not going to see $1,000 LTCN, but you can still see a 37x. Now LTCN will be attached to the hip to Litecoin. So when Litecoin moves up 20% in a week, when it moves up 5% in a week, LTCN won't move down. Whenever LTCN wants to do a PP sale, whenever Grayscale wants to do something, they can't because it's an ETF now. So it'll be affixed to the price of Litecoin, which ultimately, compared to everything that's been happening over the past few weeks for the LTCN trust, I actually think it's a bullish thing. I think a lot of people are going to receive this as negatively received news. And for a short amount of time, it will be technically. I think, and call me crazy, but I think it would be more worth it to probably sell the LTCN and buy the LTC, because then you could skip out on this little return to NAV price, right? And at the very least, if LTCN doesn't return to NAV price, then you can catch LTC on its way up, right? Because then what's going to happen is if LTCN doesn't return to NAV price, then the NAV price is going to have to catch up to the current price because LTC grows, and then they'll just grow in tandem together. Well, you could just sell your LTCN and buy LTC. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It probably wouldn't be worth it if you have long-term capital gains capabilities, because if you do, it wouldn't be worth selling here for the arbitrage on LTC to LTCN's difference, right? It would be the NAV price difference of LTCN. I hope that all makes sense, because if you're going to that same target, will that long-term capital gains tax percentage, that difference might make a hell of a lot of money, difference in money that you make. I don't know. I hope that makes sense what I'm just trying to say there. All in all, though, guys, LTC, that's also just the minimum target of this range. If it goes any higher than 5,700, LTCN will see new all-time highs. Okay, I don't believe LTC goes to 17K this cycle, but I could see it happening. A lot of cryptos like their 2272s. I could really see it happening. We'll see. But, and that'd be crazy. You'd see some really crazy growth. But right now, I think something on the lines of a 46x, which would revolve, in something that's right around these all-time highs, that makes the most sense to me. So that's LTCN, right? BCHG, the question comes to mind, if LTCN is going to have one, if LTCN is getting converted to a ETF, could BCHG get converted to an ETF too? And I think it's the next obvious choice. I think it puts BCHG on the chopping block, and I suspect it does. Man. The only reason why I could see BCH not getting an ETF is because then it would validate the BCH community. And the people who are in charge of the BTC community, they don't want that, right? That creates discourse, that creates uncertainty in what the real Bitcoin is. So that's kind of the reason why I think the BCHG might not get a ETF, or it might not get that ETF conversion. But if it does, I mean, it's pretty close to its NAV price as it stands, and I expect BCH to grow a lot this cycle as well, right? I expect BCH to be at 20K or more by the end of the cycle, and it's worth about $420 now. So, time will tell. But I definitely believe big things could happen for BCHG as well. ETF or no ETF, I suppose it would be better if it didn't have an ETF, right? But Bitcoin Cash itself, we look at this here. The price has grown over the weekend just a little bit. Yesterday we moved up about 3%. Let's see. It was Friday. Yeah, Friday we were down. So we'll probably open up the week for BCHG up. This probably is our low, and we're looking to move up higher. I think with Litecoin, with Bitcoin Cash moving up next week, with Bitcoin and the whole crypto space moving up next week, you'll see BCHG move up as well. Likely $4.50 now. I think BCHG could be at $8.42 or higher by the end of next week. And that's all I got for you guys, right? All the things that I said for LTCN, you could apply it for BCHG too, but I don't know if it's necessary yet, right? We don't have any kind of confirmation on that. I don't know. Let's see. What about BCHG? I love it, right? If I type that in Google, Google's like, it'll look up BCHG. Nope, no filed. But he'll give me a detailed report. I love it. I love it, man. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. It's not ideal for the LTCN people. I know it's not ideal for Ethan. Shout out to Ethan Gallstad, man. Love you. I haven't heard from you. I've been watching your videos, but I feel like I haven't given you, like, acknowledged you in a second. So love you, Ethan. I know you were holding a lot of LTCN, man. So that sucks that they're converting it to an ETF, but there's some security. And for all the LTCN holders, right, I'm not just speaking to Ethan at this point, I'm talking to all of you guys. There's a lot of security that comes with this ETF conversion, right? You don't have to worry about LTCN dropping more below NAV price, LTC moving up without you or anything like that, right? It's not dependent on that. Private placement sales can't hurt you anymore. It did hurt the performance of these trusts, of what you were expecting out of the trusts, for sure. That's the name of the game sometimes, right? That's the dice. That's the game that you roll, or that you play whenever you deal with any kind of derivative. And I've said it all along that derivatives do imply that they're inherently more risky. And that's why I don't mess with the Grayscale trust, because I don't trust humans. I trust the protocol, right? And I think a lot of people have learned a very valuable lesson in that. Hopefully you've learned a very valuable lesson. The lesson I learned, and it came down to just this simple rule: I do not trade derivatives. I really don't. I don't trade. I don't invest derivatives at all. Sometimes I do options, you know. I shouldn't say I don't trade them. I don't invest in derivatives. I don't invest. You shouldn't invest. And in fact, that's actually very obvious. So whenever you come to find what derivatives are and the inherent risk that comes behind them, you should not invest. You should only trade, actually, in derivatives, not invest in derivatives. And while it might have been a inconvenient lesson, I don't think it has to be an expensive lesson, right? You can actually walk away. What's great about this lesson, you guys, is you can still walk away probably with over a 30x, right? Like you're gonna learn a lesson and you're gonna get a 30x from it. So not guaranteed, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I could really see if LTCN couples with LTC, it becomes an ETF. It's not going to top off before LTC, so it'll run with LTC until it tops off. And LTC would likely, I think it will top off thousands of dollars above where it's at now, man. I think it'll be worth $7,000, $6,000, at least $5,700, if not somewhere around $2,500 at the very least. But even then, that's still a 20x from the current prices. So I'm just rambling at this point, guys. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you all. Greatly appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.